Efforts to block illegal crossings along our southern borders have begun. And does the excessive heat have an impact on the U.S. economy? Plus, getting a pizza delivered is easier now than it's ever been. It's 1 o'clock and the news feed starts now. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. Lakeisha Bay is seeking answers as police investigate her son's shooting death. Trayshawn Eunice lost his life at the age of 12 last week, and the shooting is under investigation by the Fort Worth Police Department. The shooting happened when her son and a toddler were left alone in a room while both of their fathers left them unattended. Bay shared that a gun has not been found, which she learned from the lead detective assigned to her son's case. The shooting happened on June 19th inside of a music studio. A homeowner in Richardson shot a burglar in the 1600 block of Barclay Drive. The shooting happened during a physical fight between the homeowner and thief just before 9 a.m. Another family member told police they found the suspect going through their belongings. After the burglar was shot, he ran from the home, got into a car driven by another suspect, and they drove away. A short time later, officers found both suspects and arrested them. The suspect has non-life-threatening injuries, and Richardson police detectives are continuing the investigation. The man who played a pivotal role in developing the lithium-ion battery has died. The world-renowned engineer John Goodenough is most known for his work developing the lithium-ion batteries. His crucial discovery and development of materials back in the 1980s allowed for more stable and powerful rechargeable batteries. Goodenough, along with two other scientists, were awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2019. Some Michigan groups are stepping forward and offering free emergency child care resources in the wake of a 16-month-old's death that happened at a child care facility. Tanaya Jordan reports.
Our Family Growth Center that offers free respite child care for children ages birth to age 5.
It's only for a few hours, but Child and Family Charities Chief Executive Officer Julie Thomasma says it's their way of helping build a village around parents, making sure they have the support they need. She says the Family Growth Center is different from Michigan's Safe Delivery program.
They have 72 hours to safely surrender their babies to a paramedic. They can do it in labor and delivery. They can do it at EMS or a fire station or police station, and there's no questions asked.
Tony Andrews Johnson is the director of Women's Services at Sparrow Hospital. She says Michigan has resources for moms who need help but don't want to surrender their babies.
Usually the CPS office can help with that. CPS gets a bad rap to say that, trying to take someone's baby away from them, but their main goal is to keep moms and families together.
Over at Child and Family Charities, they'll watch your kids for free until age 5, a resource that prevents kids from staying home alone without proper care.
So parents can contact us and drop off their child and just have a break.
She says knowing what to consider before leaving your child home alone is key in preventing injuries, kidnappings, or death.
We really have to think about children's maturity and how they're doing with decision making. Are they mentally, are they physically prepared, and making good choices?
The Atlanta airport has installed a new kiosk that could help save someone's life. It teaches travelers how to perform CPR in just 5 minutes. Madeline Montgomery went to the airport to try it out.
For almost 30 years, Patty Lakeisha has worked on and off at the airport. One day on break, Hill's normal day at work changed in a second.
I suddenly hear a cry out for help. Ran over and Miss V was laying on the floor.
Hill's a trained medical assistant in her other job and knew exactly what to do.
I did CPR. Somebody else jumped in. It was a nurse that came in. It was also a doctor that came in. I remember going to get to the defibrillator off the wall, running back over, give it to the doctor, and all of us kept doing CPR until the paramedics came.
That woman was saved due to simple training you can now learn right here at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport at Gate A12. It takes 5 minutes for this kiosk to teach you hands-only CPR using videos and a mannequin.
At the end of the day, we could very well be the closest thing to saving someone's life. So the bare minimum of being able to know CPR is invaluable.
Corey Murray is a CPR instructor and walked us through the life-saving technique.
The steps are very, very simple. The first step always is going to be to call 911. Interlocking our hands just like this. Now, when we're preparing to do our compressions, we're going at the speed. It's almost like the Bee Gees. You know the song Staying Alive? Ha, 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 staying alive.
You do 30 compressions, then you can do 2 breaths and keep going until emergency responders arrive. I decided to try my hand at the kiosk.
You really do have to sing it. Staying alive, staying alive. The person would come back alive just to be like, please stop.
It takes a bit of force to do the compressions right, but CPR or grabbing a defibrillator can double or triple survival rates for cardiac arrest, according to the American Heart Association.
If you have a couple of minutes to kill, stop by the kiosk. You never know when you might have to help save a life.
The U.S. continues to aid Ukraine in their war against Russia. We'll tell you the latest amount that has been approved under presidential authority. Stay with us.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
All right, I'm in the house.
Okay, what do you see?
Nothing yet. Hold on. I think I just heard something. I'm heading upstairs.
Okay, I am almost there.
I'm in the bedroom.
Okay.
Oh, shit. It's not here.
What?
The gun's not here.
What do you mean? Where is it?
Cameron, are you in there? Open the door. Cam! Come on, Cameron.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
A woman was seriously injured after being pistol whipped in Dallas's Deep Ellum Entertainment District. Dallas police said they received a call about a shooting around 12:30 a.m. on Tuesday. They found a woman with a head injury near Main and Pryor Streets, but they determined she had not been shot. She was instead hit in the head with a gun. Officers questioned a second woman who police said is considered a person of interest in the attack. Texas plans to pay a company hundreds of thousands of dollars in an effort to block migrant crossings across the Rio Grande. Cochrane USA was awarded a base contract of $850,000 to deploy a floating border barriers in the river. Governor Abbott says the first 1,000 feet of floating marine barrier will be placed near the city of Eagle Pass in Maverick County. Texas is scheduled to deploy the barriers early next month. A U.S. official says the government has announced another military aid package for Ukraine. It includes about $500 million worth of fighting vehicles provided under presidential drawdown authority. Officials say they believe Ukraine saw several such vehicles in hindered counteroffensives this month. The latest aid would augment more than $39 billion in assistance that the U.S. has provided already. It comes amid uncertainty about the impact of a mercenary group's weakened rebellion in Russia. Jury deliberations enter a third day for a Parkland school resource officer who prosecutors say stayed outside and did nothing as a gunman unleashed carnage and chaos inside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. The defense for then Deputy Scott Peterson says he didn't go inside because he couldn't tell where the shots were coming from. Here's Mike Valerio.
He was the first officer at the scene of the 2018 Parkland High School massacre. Now, 5 years later, in a Florida courtroom, the defense presents former school resource officer Scott Peterson as
a 32-year veteran, honorable, decorated, award-winning.
Peterson is on trial for not confronting the Parkland gunman. He faces charges of child neglect, culpable negligence, and perjury. Prosecutors and parents arguing Peterson should be found criminally responsible.
He heard the gunshots coming out of that building, and then his reaction was not to go in the building, not to look in the building, but to go and retreat and hide behind a concrete pillar for 48 minutes.
The defense arguing gunfire echoed off buildings and Peterson couldn't tell where the shots were coming from. The state countered in closing arguments that Peterson critically erred in his duties as an officer.
When the defendant failed to force an outcome, he told you what his priority of life was.
The trial underscores expectations of what officers should do during a mass shooting. Parkland parents hope this case sets a precedent for required action.
I hope he is haunted by his inaction.
Peterson's lawyer says the former deputy did, quote, everything he could that day.
The only verdict that speaks justice in this case, ladies and gentlemen, is not guilty on every single count, because he truly is innocent.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Officials say more state legislators have received anonymous life-threatening letters containing white powder. The Montana Senate GOP tweeted that at least 2 of its state lawmakers received suspicious packages. The party says both lawmakers are fine and law enforcement plans to test the substances. This report comes as the FBI investigates similar incidents across the country. State lawmakers in Tennessee reported receiving threatening letters containing a suspicious substance, and last week about 100 letters containing a white powder were also sent to public officials across Kansas. When we return, Austin will have your hot weekend forecast. Will it affect your 4th of July plans? You're watching the NewsFeed.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason. Thank you.
A place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
I am so glad you ladies are here. You each have your own rooms.
Thank you.
Go.
Is it okay to call you Mom?
Of course you can.
Need a ride? Yeah!
Driving with kids is a big responsibility.
Hop in and buckle up!
So don't sweat the small stuff.
You got paint all over our paper!
Get the big stuff right instead.
What does that mean?
Like making sure your kids are in the correct car seat and buckled up for safer travel.
That deserves a wiggly wiggly wig.
To make sure your child is in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Beep, beep. Yeah!
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane! Woo! You got this!
As the U.S. continues to grapple with severe storms and excessive heat, the economy is starting to feel the impacts. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the average number of extreme weather events with billion-dollar losses has skyrocketed in the last 5 years. The sectors most affected include tourism, agriculture, and construction. Experts fear the cost of insurance will also get worse as the change intensifies, both hurricanes and extreme weather events. Dry conditions fueled a Colorado fire that sparked over the weekend. The Spring Creek fire reached 3,000 acres on Tuesday. Ground and air crews are battling the flames, but so far, no evacuations have been issued.
It is still summer in Texas.
With this live look of the Dallas skyline, you can almost see the heat coming up off of the pavement. We've got a little bit of a break this morning with our morning lows. 79 today, 81 for the morning low tomorrow, down to 79 on Saturday. Currently 98 in the metro, on our way up to 103. Those heat advisories still remains in effect until about 8 p.m. this evening. And you can see those heat indexes staying high in the triple digits. 109 on Wednesday and 105 today. For the weekend, high of 102 on Friday, but then Saturday and Sunday we get a little bit of break. Yay! 99 and 95, and a slight chance of rain both days as well. So a little bit of cooler weather coming in with that chance of precipitation. Starting off the week still with heat indices in the triple digits. However, we are getting a break with the daytime highs all in the 90s, so no 100-degree temperatures there. And you can see overnight we're going to be below 80 each night of the week. So I love that for us. For your 4th of July, we're going to be treated to the lowest temperature all week long with a high of 92. We will have some chance for rain both Tuesday night and Thursday.
Thank you, Austin. A heat wave is testing the limits of the power grid in parts of the U.S. Almost all of the country west of the Mississippi River could suffer blackouts during extreme conditions. Forecasted temperatures of more than 110 degrees here in Texas could fit that qualification. The problem is, when the temperature goes up, people crank their air conditioners and stress the power grid. That's okay if plants can generate enough electricity to stay on track with the demand. Keep it right here. Jason Hawley is up next with your Timeline Sports.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
We all know what it's like to feel alone. But it just takes one new connection. Want to get out of here? To empower many.
This is unbelievable.
It doesn't take a superhero to bring forces together. We all have the power to reach out.
Let's go!
And help someone feel like they belong.
Pretty cool, huh?
We are stronger together.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because it felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
The summer heat is here, but the Rangers have been cooling off. Last weekend, they took on the Yankees with a chance to make a definitive statement in the American League. Texas took Game 1 in dramatic 4-2 fashion, but ultimately dropped the 3-game set. This weekend, the Astros visit for a Texas-sized showdown between numbers 1 and 2 in the AL West. In the association, free agency starts tomorrow. All eyes around the league are on superstar guard Kyrie Irving and Will Heuerland. Dallas has the most money available to re-sign the All-Star. Other names to look for are Zach LaVine, Draymond Green, and Paul George. Dallas last week drafted 6'11" forward Derek Lively in the first round to give the Mavs a bit more of an inside presence that they lacked last year. Sad news in the NFL, former Houston Texans quarterback Ryan Mallett drowned in Destin, Florida this week. He and some friends were swimming in the Gulf of Mexico, and Mallett drowned attempting to swim to shore. He played 7 years in the NFL and was drafted by the New England Patriots. And an update on the College World Series. The LSU Tigers put on a dominant performance in the closeout game versus the Florida Gators to bring home the gold. Side note, 71 days until the NFL kickoff. And that's your Timeline Sports.
Food delivery usually requires an address, but not for Domino's. The pizza chain is launching an anywhere delivery service, letting customers choose a location by dropping a pin on the map. Domino's says the service is starting this summer, where people might be at the beach or a park without an exact address. It works just like other delivery services, and customers can even get updates and track their order. An unexpected sight along an Iowa roadway has become its own popular attraction. Reporter Ophel Jacobson introduces us to Des Moines' Special Rose.
On the west side of Highway 5, just before mile marker 100, the grass stands tall, but something else stands tall in the distance. Meet Rose, the mannequin of the hour, making drivers do a double take.
Some people have actually gone down, turned around, and come back to see Rose.
For years, people wondered where this mannequin came from.
There was all these speculations. I go, oh man, this is really good. I don't know, this might let the cat out of the bag here, you know. People are going to know that she's not an alien.
This is Gary Jennings.
Because it's fun.
He's been doing this for more than a decade.
People wanted to know where I lived, and I said, well, do you know where that picnic table is along Highway 5? And they go, yes. And it wasn't just one person. It was a lot of people that knew that picnic table. And I said, well, that's not very interesting. I think we need to put something down there to make it a little bit more interesting.
It started with Gloria.
She was dressed in a bikini, and she had a hunting jacket and a cowboy hat on.
But somebody stole her.
Evidently, she was just too good looking, and she just all of a sudden vanished.
Next came Rose.
Someone approached me. It was his wedding. It was his wedding anniversary gift to his wife for 40 years to put Gloria back in the field. But his wife was calling her Rose, so the new mannequin was Rose.
Right now, Rose is sporting a Caitlin Clark jersey, but before that...
She was wearing a wedding dress, but I think she was left at the altar because there was never a male mannequin down there for her.
Rose has seen it all.
She has waved at a lot of at presidents and presidential candidates as they go by. I don't know who she supports, though.
A lifeless object.
Hopefully she stays there and people will respect her and appreciate her for what she is.
Brought to life.
Just a friendly face in the field, you know.
By a man full of life.
A graceful guy gets a greasy win, and 100 dogs take flight when the NewsFeed returns.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training on a Friday afternoon, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. You don't know how much somebody can hide what's going on inside their head. Store your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
A bizarre and long-standing New England event left only one standing, as the rest of them fell victim to a very slippery ground. Jeremy Roth explains in today's Take a Look at This.
The weird annual Massachusetts tradition dating back to 1931 returned in all its gloppy glory as gutsy guys and gals in Gloucester garnered goopy gamesmanship to grapple with a gargantuan greasy pole. Part of the annual St. Peter's Fiesta celebration, brave participants tried to reach a flag at the end of a 40-foot telephone pole slathered in bacon fat, fish guts, and banana peels. Many tried, but would slide or fail with a fall, but it was a 27-year-old Gloucester native who found his fishy footing to nab the win. He received a hero's welcome, a parade, and a serenade, and if nothing else, probably didn't pay for a single beer at the bar that night, by God. Furry friends let fly at another splashy competition, this one in San Diego at the North American Dog Diving event. More than 100 dogs took to the air in the dock diving competition, including one bona fide canine celeb, Sounders, who last fall set a vertical record with a 9-foot high jump and flew a fantastic 34 feet in this year's distance contest. Daring dogs didn't disappoint by keeping their legs up, and splashed spectators gave it the thumbs up. Finally, a happy ending for a whale of a tale in California. About a year ago, this Texas man lost his prosthetic leg kayaking on Lake Natoma. But thanks to an intrepid scuba diving salvager who spotted the waterlogged leg in the lake bed and spurred a successful social media search, it's now back where it belongs.
The moral of the story is there's still good people in this world.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
It's a comfy place to call home after a long and productive life, but this retirement home is for your canine. Michelle Bake gives us the story.
Where man goes, man's best friend follows.
If you get here in the morning, they all gravitate towards you.
Even as the steps get slower, they stay a pair through the journey of time.
Yeah, dogs have always been part of our life, and it's been important to us.
Every weekend and sometimes more.
That's his happy spot.
You'll find Larry Barton in his happy spot.
You kind of wonder who's helping who sometimes.
Jane's Journey Home is a retirement home for dogs. At 13, Ajax is one of the oldest to live here in Baraboo.
He was left outside in double-degree temperatures below zero. He does have dementia, so it causes him to wander a lot or maybe just stand still and stare off into space.
As Executive Director Rachel Leitzinger shows us around, it's a familiar, cozy scene.
The big, large bed, a lot of dogs sleep on their beds when they're at home with their owners. So this is actually one of the favorite places for the dogs to go to.
The sanctuary is nestled on a 36-acre property for the 7 senior residents to roam, rest, and receive care.
The vision for Jane's Journey Home took many years to evolve.
Larry Barton's mother.
This is me on the lower left with my brother. She knew that she had cancer. She knew she had about 9 or 10 months left, and dogs were the thing. That became the thing that she wanted people to remember her by.
Not just any dogs, but those nearing the end of their lives, like Jane.
She was concerned that dogs were being euthanized prematurely, and also the pain and suffering that they were going through leading up to that.
With her son managing the money in her trust, Jane's Journey Home officially opened earlier this month. Take Ajax outside, and it's hard to believe he's the dog with dementia.
Turn that dog's life around, you stabilize it, and now it is a happy senior animal enjoying life. So I love to see that.
Thank you so much for joining us on the news feed. We hope you have a great weekend and a cool and safe 4th of July.
This fall,
Earn an art core credit that's fun and easy. There's a variety of dance appreciation sessions offered for 16, 14, and second 8-week courses. You'll learn the history and context of different dance genres, ranging from African, tap, modern, and ballet. The instructors are flexible to accommodate students' needs so they can successfully pass the course. Email Hyungjong or Najwa with any questions for Fall 2023 Dance Appreciation.